You've done what you feel you needed to do, and because the result hasn't manifested yet, you quit or you pivot, when reality is you were so close and you probably stepped away from the activity at the very last moment when you just need to follow through that one more time and it would have all happened for you. There's a game show in the UK called Tipping Point, and if you're not familiar with the show, the contestants are quizzed, they get an answer right, they're allocated coins, they push a button for where they want the coin to drop, in which portion of this machine. There's coins already in place, and when their coin drops, it pushes the coins forward, and the coins that spill over the edge go towards their bankroll, and the contestant that has the highest bankroll wins the show. And you'll have contestants that drop 2 or 3 coins in a row and nothing gets pushed over to the edge, but it builds up this stack. So when someone drops the right coin in the right place, it all spills over. And that's a great analogy for building a personal brand and building a business. You can be doing all the right things, dropping the coins, but nothing spilling over. But if you keep dropping the coins, eventually this critical mass happens and you get this influx and it all comes flooding through. And I want you to take a step back with me for a moment and look at this objectively, because there's so many areas in life, and I'm so guilty of this, where you've done what you feel you needed to do, and because the result hasn't manifested yet, you quit or you change, you pivot, when reality is you were so close and you probably stepped away from the activity at the very last moment when you just need to follow through that one more time and it would have all happened for you. And maturity I'm very grateful for, because I can see instances in my business career in the past where that's happened and I've got discouraged and stopped doing what was working or would have worked if I had just stuck with it. And there's been a few events like that in the last 30 days where we've had probably the worst conversion that I've had talking to people that have applied for our services, but we've had the most applicants that we've ever had in a single month. So what it's telling me is we just need to keep dropping coins into our tipping point, which is doing all the activity that we're currently doing, because it's generating the mass, and then the right moment it's going to flip over and the influx is going to come through. So where is it in your world that that's happening, where you feel like you're making the deposits, yet there's this lag, this time in between results showing up, but you know, hey, if I keep doing this, surely it's going to manifest into some of the outcomes that I want, and eventually all the outcomes I want. And I think that's the mentality that you need to have. If you've got the experience and knowledge up your sleeve to know what you're doing is the right activity, or you can borrow someone else's and they can tell you, yes, keep doing this, then that's the formula, is just keep adding time, because it will tip over for you. And when I shared my blueprint or plan for this year, I basically mapped out a plan for activity that I thought would be unreasonable to not achieve our goals, in terms of the number of events that I was committed to doing, the number of guest podcast appearances, the number of content posts. And I know that, hey, if I do that consistently over 12 months, even if the results don't manifest at certain times during the year, over the course of 12 months, it'll help us achieve our goal and almost be impossible not to. So if you step back and go, what is that activity for me? If I have a health goal, a relationship goal, a business goal, a personal brand goal, if I did that activity and just kept following through, regardless of whether the results were showing or lagging, then it would be unreasonable for that goal or outcome not to show up at X time frame in the future. And I think that's a really healthy psychology, because if we're focusing on lack and what's not happening and not coming to us, it triggers an emotion that's away from, and it's not a very resourceful state, and it tends to put our focus on things that make us not feel good. Whereas if we're focusing on where we're going and what we've already created and what we've got, the energetic frequency is a much better emotion for attracting positivity into your world and seeing more of that. And I was cycling back to Tony Robbins, which I do periodically, and I have to give him credit. I've done Unleash the Power Within, been to his events and listened to his content for many, many years. And he was talking about how the brain's wired for survival. And that's always looking for threats, which is why as humans, we can tend to focus on what's not working, what could go wrong, what we can't control, because that's the survival mechanism kicking in. But it often puts us in a state where we don't feel great. And that's not the best state for production and manifestation. So he said the key is conditioning your brain to, one, focus on what you have got and feeling good about that, grateful for what you already got, not what's missing and you haven't got. Number two, focus on the goal or the compelling future, where you're going versus what could go wrong or what happened in the past. And that's so true. I look at instances where I've been feeling low or anxious, stressed, whatever it is. I'm focusing on something that's gone wrong or could go wrong, something that I can't control, and then usually pushing it out into the future and making this big event that hasn't even happened yet. And when I've felt most abundant, most alive, most happy, it's because I'm looking at the progress that I've made. I'm grateful for my family, everything that I've got in my world, which is far beyond everything that I ever dreamed up when I started out. And then I'm also looking at the goals. Hey, here's where I'm going. If I keep doing this is why I'm excited to work, because if I keep doing this activity over here, then I can get to that compelling vision for my family, for our wealth, for our relationship, for our freedom, for our lifestyle over here. And I think that's important to share, because it's very easy, as Tony Robbins said, to have a home emotion. And regardless of what we create, what happens, we always find our way back there, and that's that survival mechanism kicking in. So regardless of what we keep creating in our world, we still have this same emotional home, and we never get that feeling that we're pursuing of happiness, of joy for more than a fleeting moment. And I've been through a pretty rough 6 months. Certainly my wife's been through the much harder part of that, because she's the one going through treatment for cancer, and we've had some challenges with our son Bailey in his world and some restrictions in what we can do in the business. But apart from the odd moment where you find yourself focusing on that and the overwhelm of it all, and you get to this almost place of helplessness, the majority of the time I've been able to focus on what we can control, on the progress, on what we have got, the positivity, what this means and where we're going, and being in a pretty good place through the journey. But it did take some personal work and some reminders to get back to that state, because in the beginning it really was overwhelm and the uncertainty around the future and what that would look like. So I guess the message, I've been off on a bit of a tangent here, is to one, look at where can you keep putting the coins so it does tip over. Which area of your life is it? Keep showing up to the gym, to working out, and then the weight will start coming off if that's some of your goal. If it's in the business, I need to keep showing up, doing the marketing campaigns, keep advertising, keep doing the events, in my case the podcasting, the content, because I know that'll work, so it'll eventually translate into the conversion and the targets that you set for the clients. Which part of your life do you need to just keep doing that? And how can you make sure that you're putting yourself in that resourceful state, so you're focusing on what you've already got and what you can be grateful for, and also the goal where you're going versus what hasn't happened, what's missing, and what you can't control. I think there's a really powerful message in this, and it's for me as a reminder, because I keep needing it from time to time through this journey with my wife's treatment and so forth and everything that's going on, but one for you that you can leverage through what I'm going through at the moment. So if this was helpful, make sure that you subscribe so you can catch future episodes as they come out. And also, if you're creating content and that's part of your strategy this year, it's slightly off topic from this episode, but that might be the coins that you need to tip in to get some of the goals that you want to achieve. If you head to contentonly.au, we have the 30 days in 90 minutes content creation system, where you can download that for free and condense all your content creation time for the month ahead, both video and written format, into just 90 minutes a month. So go get your hands on that. And if you're listening to the show and you can leave a 5-star review on the platform you're listening on, that helps more people discover the show.